Hello and welcome to the channel. What we're doing this afternoon is giving you guys the lowdown on the Jetboil MicroMo stove. Now, I've had this stove system for several months now. I've been reviewing it long term. It's been backpacking, it's been bike packing, it's been in the snow and ice, it's been in 118 degrees Fahrenheit out in the desert. I've beaten the crap out of this and it's lived to tell the tale. I'm very impressed with its longevity. And the system has been, to me, pretty great. It's what I turn to. It's the one I pull out of my gear shed, which is over there, which is full of stoves and other things. It's not a cheap system, but it's a great system. So we're going to go through each element of it, talk a little bit about it, show you how it goes together, show you how it breaks down and stores. So we start off with the cup. The cup's 0.8 litres in size. It has this nice neoprene handle and neoprene case to stop you burning your hand. And it's got a nice non-stick interior, which I found to be great. I've cooked a lot of food in there and nothing's got gummed up yet. I wouldn't probably go after it with a metal spatula or something, but I don't really carry those on the trail anyway, so that's never been an issue. So that's the cup. Big fan of the cup. Okay, the base of the cup is covered, protected by this. So this is just a protector, goes on the base of the cup there. When you're traveling, stops any of these elements getting bent. This is graded in ounces and milliliters, you can see maybe. Jetboil saying that you can use this to eat out of. I haven't been using this to eat out of because I don't really want to get oatmeal all up in my stove, so for me this is more of a measuring cup and then a protector, maybe a little drink of coffee, sure, out of it, but I wouldn't be putting food in there for the reasons I've just outlined. After that, you've got your pot holder. Now what the pot holder does is allows you to bend out these 4 supports and you can support a pot on top of your Jetboil stove. So that lets you cook with a traditional pot or pan if you want to do some more gourmet stuff, if you want to fry something, make your scrambled eggs, do some cooking on the trail. This lets you use the Jetboil as your car camping stove as well as your backpacking stove, which is cool. What I will say is that when I'm backpacking, I tend not to use this because bringing this and a pan and the required extra fuel, because this is a much less efficient way of cooking, takes really more things than I'm willing to carry with me. I do like good food, but I know that on the trail I can't carry too much stuff. This here is the coffee accessory. Now this doesn't come as part of a standard package, but they did send it to us as part of the review. So standard male-female thread, and then screws like this into the filter screen. The filter screen's a very fine filter screen. You boil your water, you dump in your coffee, make sure you get the right amount, and you can see the grading on the sides, know how much water you have. You wait about 3 or 4 minutes, preferably with the lid on so your coffee doesn't get cold. Then you plunge away, you pour away into the provided cup, and that's a great way to start your day. Then we've got the lid itself. The lid itself is great actually, and everything in this package serves a function, which I really like. So this lid clips on the top. It's moldable. I've had this in the snow and ice, and I've had this in 118 degrees in the desert. It hasn't melted and it hasn't got too hard to fit on. You can see it lets air out, pouring spout, and here you have a little filter. If you're making tea, it should filter out some of the tea leaves, or you're draining your rice or whatever. Useful piece of kit. Then last but not least, obviously, is the actual stove system itself. So here it is. It's pretty small, it's pretty compact. What it does is it screws onto the top of your propane canister. It's very easy. It's easy to screw. So just all the way on. And we're going to boil some water here. So this, I forgot to mention, but this is the pot stabilizer. It's actually really useful when you're out on the trail. As you can see, this is a big tall system. It's going to be a big tall system. So this stops anything tipping over, gives it a broader base. It would work with any canister. The nice thing about the Jetboil is that it is rather brand agnostic with the canisters, which we really like. So to locate this, there's an L-shaped connector, which can be seen there. And you just drop that onto these little ball joints, which you'll see, it's very obvious, and then give it a twist, and then it locks itself in. So there you go, it's locked in now, safe, sturdy, secure. Okay. Here's some water, all right, about 300 milliliters of water. Just going to pour that in there. It just came out the tap, so it's room temperature. And then I'm going to open up the gas, And I'm going to open it up all the way. And then I'm going to ignite it with the sparker. Boom. Okay, and we're off. Right, let's put the lid on. I have found that the Jetboil takes about 2 minutes to boil half a litre of water at a normal kind of ambient temperature. So it's very fuel efficient and time efficient in that way. If we're rushing to break camp in the morning, I can boil a lot more water in this. I can make coffee and oatmeal for me and my girlfriend while we take down our tent. So that's something that is a real advantage of this system. Found it to use about a gram per 100 milliliters of water to boil it. That's one of the most efficient stoves I'm familiar with. Actually, I've tried a lot of stoves. This is the stove I go to, and that fuel efficiency is one of the reasons. So you can carry any brand of fuel. Again, you can get to where you're going and buy any brand of fuel, which is definitely a benefit, to be able to use whatever type of fuel you want. And that right now is boiling, so that's as long as that took. You can see that was a super fast boil, and there was about 300 milliliters of water in there, and it was pretty warm. So I've just turned that off by twisting the dial here. And if I was asked to provide my criticisms to the Jetboil, which I have been, I would say a couple of things. Firstly, to disconnect this canister now can be kind of hard. You have to sort of press, and you really risk burning your fingers. So I normally wait till it's cooled, and if I need to do any pouring, I do the pouring by picking up the whole system. This spout is pretty good, but I do always, again, if I want to pour, I kind of keep my hands on there just to check nothing's coming out. This neoprene handle is pretty better for carrying the system when you're not actually using it for hot water, so I would suggest avoiding that. The lid is great. This is definitely a much less efficient way of cooking. People will criticize the Jetboil for not working too well with other cups or other receptacles, and that is a valid criticism, but if you put diesel in your gas car, it doesn't work too well either. You're buying a system, you should use the system. Over time, the system's efficiency will pay back for itself in fuel costs. So if you want to do some frying, sure, occasionally, but if the more gourmet cooking stuff is your MO when you're out camping, probably isn't the stove for you. If you're a backpacker, you want to keep it light, you want to keep it fast, and you love having your 2 hot meals a day, this is the way to go. So we're going to see if we can, if this has cooled down enough yet that I can break it off. And it has not quite yet. Okay, so let's pour this into the provided cup. Another cool thing about the Jetboil that we like is everything packs down inside itself, right? So the Jetboil is still pretty warm here, but you can see, for instance, once I fold this up, drops in there, right? This is the coffee attachment, so I can just unscrew this, drops in there. Wham bam, thank you ma'am, okay? This should disconnect now. Just going to pour this water away so you can see how the bottom cup protector works. This goes over here, and then this, because it is made of this very thin metal, it's light, but I found it to be very sturdy. I've used this on the trail for months, it's never been a problem. So it conducts the heat away very quickly. This is already, as you can see, I'm touching it with my hands and it's not cold, so that's nice as well when you're rushing to break camp in the morning. So that just folds down, pop that in there. Last but not least, the pot holder, or the fuel holder. We pop that in there, and then make sure it's folded properly, put the lid on. We have our whole system ready to hit the trail. So it only took me less than a minute. Finally, everybody wants to know how much it weighs, right? So we're looking about 419 grams, or if you're more of a pounds and ounces, 14.8. That's including the coffee accessory and the pot stabilizer. Some people don't use those. I always try to use those. And then, as I said, whatever fuel canister you choose. Some of them, if you're not using the various accessories, a smaller fuel canister will even fit into some of the Jetboil models. So an extremely compact and easy way of cooking on the trail. I'm a big fan. I love the coffee accessory. I think you'll love this too. If you can afford it, you won't regret it. That is the Jetboil MicroMo. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below or get in touch through one of our other channels. And we'll be back with some more cool stuff next week.